the philosophy of internal autonomy, and the rejection of external standards. In a world where societal expectations and external pressures often dictate human behavior, many individuals find themselves trapped in a pseudo-personality, an artificial self created to conform to societal norms and gain external approval. This false self becomes a prison for the authentic being, forcing individuals to live in a way that neglects their internal desires and a mental peace in favor of superficial validation. My philosophy calls for a radical detachment from these external forces, focusing instead on the pursuit of internal autonomy and the cultivation of a life that is truly aligned with one's core being. In this view, society may provide for basic survival needs like food and shelter, but it fails to nurture the mind and spirit, leaving individuals in a state of spiritual and mental decay. True fulfillment, therefore, can only be found by rejecting the external noise and living authentically within one's own world. The pseudo-personality as a form of hell. Central to my philosophy is the concept of the pseudo-personality, the persona that society forces individuals to adopt in order to survive within its structures. This artificial self is designed to meet the expectations of others, often at the expense of the individual's true desires and internal well-being. By living in this pseudo-state, individuals kill their spirit, suffocating their authentic self in favor of societal approval. This existence, where people fail to connect with each other's true selves and instead interact through false personas, is a kind of spiritual death, a form of hell that lasts for eternity. Individuals trapped in this cycle live not for themselves, but for the external validation that keeps them moving in circles, chasing goals that bring them no real peace. The role of society, a tool for survival, but not for fulfillment. My philosophy acknowledges that society plays an important role in providing basic survival needs, food, shelter, and protection. However, beyond these physical necessities, society becomes a place where the mind and spirit are often neglected or outright oppressed. It does not provide space for individuals to cultivate their inner peace or pursue the authentic paths that matter most to them. Modern society often imposes standards and expectations that are arbitrary and hypocritical, demanding that individuals meet goals that even the majority fails to achieve. These societal constructs are driven by the collective ego, which seeks to control and mold individuals into productive cogs within a larger system. In doing so, society gaslights individuals into believing that superficial success and external admiration are more important than internal peace. In such a world, merely surviving within societal structures may be possible, but thriving on a mental or spiritual level requires individuals to disconnect from these external expectations. Endurance, then, becomes a matter of enduring for the sake of a personal meaning, not for the empty reward society offers, but for the authentic self, the true being that is often buried under layers of imposed identity. The importance of internal autonomy. At the heart of my philosophy is the idea of internal autonomy, the practice of crafting one's own existence based on personal truths, desires, and values, independent of societal pressures. Internal autonomy means living in a way that honors the natural desires of the self, refusing to be molded by the false expectations of the outside world. True personal fulfillment comes not from chasing societal goals, but from living a life that is in alignment with one's authentic self. This requires a conscious rejection of the pseudo-personality and a commitment to nurturing one's inner world, creating a space where external influences no longer holds sway. In this state of internal freedom, the outside world becomes irrelevant. Societal pressures, expectations, and judgments lose their power to dictate your sense of self or influence your life path. Instead, you become the sole creator of your reality, shaping your existence based on what matters to you, not what society demands. Rejecting external validation and the illusion of a peaceful future. A key insight in my philosophy is the rejection of external validation and the realization that the promises society offers, a peaceful future, success, or happiness, are often illusory. Society dangles the carrot of a future fulfillment, convincing individuals to sacrifice their internal peace in pursuit of superficial goals. However, this future never truly arrives, leaving people trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction, constantly seeking validation that brings no real contentment. The illusion of a better future is one of society's most effective tools for control, keeping individuals distracted from the present reality of their internal suffering. In my view, this is a gaslighting mechanism that prevents people from truly addressing their own needs or questioning the arbitrary standards imposed on them. Instead of chasing this invisible carrot, my philosophy advocates for living in the present, focusing on the here and now. True peace comes from within, from crafting a life that resonates with your true desires, rather than seeking fulfillment in a future that will never arrive. Creative expression and fiction as a path to freedom. One of the most powerful tools for achieving internal autonomy is through creative expression, particularly in the realms of fiction and art. In a world where external society imposes limits on self-expression and punishes those who deviate from the norm, fiction becomes a space where individuals can express their inner truths without restriction. Fictional worlds allow individuals to explore and express their authentic selves in ways that may not be possible in the real world. Through art and fiction, people can create alternate realities that reflect their deepest values and desires, providing a form of mental transcendence that liberates them from the constraints of the pseudo-personality. In my philosophy, this creative freedom is essential to mental and spiritual well-being. By focusing on creating and sharing fictional works, individuals can build a community of like-minded people who resonate with their inner worlds. This is a way to protect the mind and spirit from the external world's pressures and to cultivate a life that is true to the self. Transcending the mental realm. Ultimately, my philosophy points toward a transcendence of the mental realm. This is not about escaping the physical world, but about liberating the mind and spirit from the constraints of societal constructs. By living in a state of internal autonomy, individuals can transcend the limitations imposed by the external world and exist at a mental space that is entirely their own. This transcendence is about achieving mastery over one's conscious existence. Rejecting the false dichotomy of living for societal validation versus dying internally. Instead, it is about nurturing the mind and spirit and living for personal truth. Even if that truth is invisible or irrelevant to society, the outside world becomes irrelevant in this state, as the individual focuses solely on internal peace, personal meaning, and the cultivation of their authentic self. This creates a life of mental freedom, where external circumstances and societal changes no longer have the power to disrupt one's inner clarity. Conclusion. a life of internal autonomy and mental freedom. My philosophy is a internal rejection of external pressures, societal standards, and the pursuit of superficial goals. It emphasizes the importance of living for your authentic self, cultivating internal autonomy, and detaching from the irrelevant outside world. True peace and fulfillment can only be found through creative expression, mental clarity, and the pursuit of personal meaning, not through chasing the false promises of society. By embracing this path, individuals can achieve mastery over their existence, crafting a life that reflects their true desires and values, free from the burdens imposed by societal expectations. This philosophy offers a way to transcend the mental realm and live in a state of freedom, where the self-sank is fully realized, and the outside world no longer holds power over one's internal peace.